So I was able to teach Google's Gemini my native language using just one book. Technically, not just any book, a dictionary. So my native language is Izon, right? And it's spoken by the Ijaw people of Nigeria. And one of the biggest challenges with our language is it's a low resource language. So that means basically it's virtually non-existent on the internet. And so we don't have translators like Google Translate to help translate our language. Language models like ChatGPT or Anthropic or whatever, they basically don't even understand our language. So what I did is I basically took the dictionary that I had and I gave it to an LLM, right? But not just any LLM. I gave it to Google's Gemini, mostly because the dictionary was large, like it has about 400 context size, 400 tokens, and all the existing LLMs out there cannot even take up to 400. So Google's Gemini could take up to 2 million tokens. So I just gave it to it, and let's just see the results I got. So this is basically my notebook that I'm currently using. So let's just go through this and see. So the very first thing I did is I basically installed the Google's generative AI library, and I basically just stored my AP my Gemini token keys. You can grab that from the AI Studio from Google. Then I just sort of like use the default configuration of the model, and I just use the model just by default, right? Then these are a couple of helper functions, one for displaying, and this is actually a very important helper function because this helps upload my file to Gemini, right? So in this case, mine is the Zone and dictionary. Then I just basically started my session. I called the model Kalatubo. You'll find out why. And basically, I just sent a very pleasant note, hi, and it responded to me. So the very first thing I wanted to do was to test how the model is able to like retrieve knowledge from the dictionary. So the very first thing I asked it is, what's the meaning of Kalatubo? And it says Kalatubo means small child, right? Small child or little child. And that's why I call the model Kalatubo, because it's small. So be nice to it. So that was like the very first thing. There were other sentences I tried, but let me just go to the ones I really find really interesting. So I asked it, what's the meaning of Agudama? And Agudama is not actually a word, it's more like a place, but it was able to figure that out. Again, from the dictionary, it's retrieving all this information from the dictionary. It just knows that, okay, this is not really a word, but this is more of like a place. And it got that right. And I asked it what is water in Izon, and it just said, oh, water is Beni, right? So that was easy. Like these are kind of like easy things. So actually this was a very interesting example. I wanted to just like trick the model. I asked it, what is the meaning of Owe in Izon? Owe means man, but I replaced the O with a U, and the model was still able to like get it right. Like that was really interesting because it just knows that, okay, this is probably Owe, and it just got that right. So that was like knowledge retrieval. The model did very well there, and he was able to like get things. But one thing the model is not really good at, it's not really good at counting, right? So I think that has to do with the fact that the dictionary doesn't really have a lot of resources on counting. So that can be fixed later by just providing extra information. So I wanted to like test the model's translation ability. The model, it's fairly okay at translating basic words, right? It can translate, it can get the general idea, but it doesn't really get things word for word translation. Like, yeah, it was like Arifia fi emia, or it said the actual translation is I am eating, but it said you are eating food, which it's kind of correct because the word Ari means I and you at the same time. Probably more context would have actually helped the model here. The same thing here is just like Ari Woin carry, it's the meaning means I worship God, and why, yeah, it basically said you worship slash praise slash serve God, which again is kind of correct. But the model really struggles with long sentences. Like it cannot translate long sentences, and I think the worst of them all, the funniest of them all, is I gave it the Nigeria's national anthem, and it just gave me this. Right? This is kind of funny, but it's actually impressive because this is the best um interface right now for the Izon language. And in the words of the Wolverine, I'm the best at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice. And that's what this model is right now. And like I said, the name of the model is Kalatsubo. So it's a small child. So be nice to it.